Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sheila, and I know it's been a very long time since we last recorded, but today I have a new project for you, and it's of the barefoot sandals. I know we make so many beach outfits on my page and on my channel. I teach so many beach outfits, so I thought it was necessary to have a tutorial on the barefoot sandals. So this is for a client of mine who ordered for a pair, and I thought that I could record for you how I achieved this. So let's get into the tutorial. I have tried these sandals in different yarns. This is in robin yarn in white, and they're a bit bulky but not so much. Very comfortable, very soft-ish. And then I tried the same exact piece using Alizian cotton gold in the color beige, and this is what I achieved. This is very light, very smooth, and I loved this. But for this project, I'll be using Skot Cotton 5. It's made in Italy, and it was a gift from a friend of mine called Martha from Germany. And yeah, that's the yarn that I'm going to use. I'm going to be using this, and I'm going to be doubling the strand. I'll be using 2 strands since the yarn is very thin. And you'll also need pair of scissors and a yarn needle to sew in your ends. So these are the materials you'll need. You'll also need a 3.75mm crochet hook. So this is the yarn. You can see it's very thin, and I'm going to be doubling it. So let me put this away for now, because we don't need them until the end when we are doing the final touches. All you need is your hook. So grab your hook, get your yarn, and you're going to start off with a slip knot. That's your slip knot. You're going to make a chain of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So after your 5th chain, you're going to slip stitch in the very first chain that you made, and this will create a ring. So a slip stitch is insert your hook in the chain where you want to slip stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Sorry, it's insert your hook, yarn over, pull through this other one. You don't yarn over again. So this is the ring that we formed. You can see that space in between. So the next thing that we are going to do, you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to make a total of 8 single crochets in that ring. So this is my first single crochet. You want a total of 8 of them. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and once you get your 8 single crochets, you're going to slip stitch into the very first single crochet that you made, like that. So your work should look like this at this point. We are done with row 1. Okay, so now we are on row 2, and you're going to chain 1 and then make 1 single crochet in that very first stitch. Make a single crochet there. Then you're going to chain up 4. These are 4 chains, and then you're going to slip stitch at the base of the single crochet that you made. So go into that front loop and then into the next loop. you have 2 loops on your hook, and then slip stitch, and then go into the next stitch and make a single crochet, chain up 4, then slip stitch at the base of the single crochet. Like that. So continue doing this all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch at the base of the single crochet, single crochet in the next stitch, chain up 4, slip stitch at the base of the single crochet, single crochet in the next stitch, chain up 4, slip stitch at the base of the single crochet, so this is going to create little bubbles, like very little spikes around the circle, and you want to have 9 of them. So continue going all the way around. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more. I'll go into the very last single crochet and make a single crochet, chain up 4, and make my very last spike. So that's done. This is what you should have. There's one hidden behind my hook. It's here. So you should have 9 of these. Then you're going to go into the very first single crochet that you made, and then you make a slip stitch. So this is what you should have. You see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So let's go to round 3. Round 3 is going to be a bit different. You're going to go into the top of that spike, just go inside that little bubble and slip stitch there, like that. Then go into the next spike and also slip stitch there. So you've joined 2 spikes together. Then you're going to make a chain of 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And then you're going to skip over this spike and go into the next one with a single crochet, and then slip stitch into the next one. So we've also joined these 2 together, just like we did here. Then make a chain of 15. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Skip over this spike and go into the next one with a single crochet, then slip stitch into the next one. So you can see we've joined the next 2. Then you're going to chain 15, so after your 15 chains, you're going to skip over this one and then go into the one that you joined first. Find any space there, just insert your hook there in the middle and slip stitch. So you'll notice that we have one spike in the middle of each chain 15 loop. So you're going to chain 1 and then single crochet in that very space. You single crochet once and then you're going to go into the space that has 15 chains, that 15 chain loop, and place a total of 15 single crochets. So these are 2 for me. You're going to have to place a total of 15. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So once you have 15 single crochets in the chain 15 loop, you're going to go in between these joined spikes. Just go somewhere in between and make a single crochet there. Then jump into the next 15 chain loop and make a total of 15 single crochets. These are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Make sure they are very neat. It's kind of hard to keep the neatness since the loop is kind of big, but make sure you keep them neat. So after your 15 single crochets, go in the middle of those spikes and make 1 single crochet, and then jump into the next 15 chain loop and make a total of 15 single crochets. So I have my 15 single crochets, and after this I'm going to go into the very first single crochet that I made, the one I made in between these, and I'm going to slip stitch there. I'm going to make a slip stitch there. So this is how the loops should look like at this point. So you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, the next single crochet, which is the very first single crochet in the chain 15 loop. So you slip stitch in this one and then slip stitch into this one, then you chain up 1 and then single crochet in that very stitch, and then chain 3. This chain 3 and the single crochet, I count it as a chain 4, which is a double crochet chain 1. So after your chain 3, you're going to go into the next stitch with 1 double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch. So you want a total of 7 double crochets, chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch. So we are not skipping anything at the base. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch, which is the 7th stitch, because we count this as a double crochet chain 1. So when you have your 7 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, now in the 8th you're going to chain 1 and in this, the one that's supposed to get the 8th will get 1 double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet in that very stitch. We do this because this is the exact middle of our work. Remember, we have 15 stitches, so 7 on this side, 7 on this side, and then the exact middle gets 1 double crochet, chain 1, and 1 double crochet to keep the points, these middle parts pointed. So after this, you're going to chain 1 and go down into the next stitch with a double crochet, chain 1, go into the next stitch with a double crochet, chain 1, go into the next stitch with a double crochet. So from this V stitch that we did, so far we have 3 and we are supposed to get 7 of them. So chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch, that's the 4th stitch, chain 1, double crochet in the next, that's the 5th, chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch, that's the 6th stitch, chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch, which is the very last stitch of the 15 stitches below. So you can see this after the V stitch, there's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and before the V stitch we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. So this is correct. Once you get this, you know your stitch count for this loop was very correct. So we are crossing over to the next side. We are going to skip this very fast, the stitch that we did in the middle of these 2 spikes, and then go into the very first stitch that we did of the 15 stitches. So you're going to just jump over and go into the very first stitch of the 15 and do a double crochet. We are not going to chain anything in between here. So you can see the chains, and then here at this point we won't chain anything. We shall just go directly into the first stitch of the 15, then chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch. So this is 1 2 3 4, chain 1, 5, chain 1, 6, chain 1, and 7. So once you get 7, the next one will get a V stitch. So chain 1, go into the next stitch with 1 double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet in that very stitch. So that's what you should have. And then chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch. You should make sure you have 7 of them after the V stitch. So these are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can see the 7th is going to go into our very last stitch of the 15 single crochets. So this is what you have, and then you're going to skip over into the very first stitch of the 15, go in there and make a double crochet. We won't chain here when we are crossing over to the next loop. So chain 1, double crochet. So these are 2 so far. Chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So remember, once you get 7, we do the V stitch in the next stitch. So 1 double crochet, chain 1 and 1 more double crochet in the same stitch. So that's the exact middle of this loop. Then chain 1, double crochet in the next, and go all the way down. Make sure you have a total of 7 double crochets. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So this is what we have for now. And then you're going to count to the 3rd chain of the very first stitch. Remember, we counted this as a stitch, this single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and then go into that 3rd chain and make a slip stitch. So this is what you should have right now. And now we are going to do something different for the very last row. You're going to chain up 1 and turn your work. This time we are going to be working from the back side because we want the spikes to be popping on the outside of our work. So as you can see, this is the right side, this is the wrong side. So I want these spikes to be popping on the outside. So we're going to do the very last row, and this is when we are going to be shaping where the toe goes and where these strings attach. So you chain 1, turn your work, then go into the very first, chain 1 space with a single crochet, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then slip stitch at the base of the single crochet. Like this. Then single crochet again in that very space. Go into the next, chain 1 space, chain 4, slip stitch at the base of the single crochet, single crochet again in that very space. So this is going to start creating those spikes again. This is the right side of our work. We are working on the wrong side. So go into the next space, single crochet, chain up 4, slip stitch at the base of the single crochet, and then single crochet again in that chain 1 space. Single crochet in the next chain 1 space, chain up 4, slip stitch at the base of the single crochet, and single crochet again in that same space. So right now you may not be even seeing the spikes, but they are popping on the outside of the sandal. So continue doing that until you get to the V-stitch. So you're going to do the same exact thing until you get to the exact middle of the loop, which has the V-stitch. So here we are. You can see we've done a spike in every space until we reached this is the V-stitch, and we're going to do something different here. You're going to make a single crochet in the next space, which is the V-stitch. Then you're going to chain up 15 those are my 15 chains, or I don't know the size of your toes, but this is a basic chain that will fit literally anyone. So my 15 chains are here. You're going to slip stitch at the base of the very first chain. So you'll slip stitch there and then make one more single crochet in that very space. So at this point we've created the loop for the toe, and then you're going to go into the very next chain one space and make one single crochet, chain 4, 1 2 3 4, and then slip stitch at the base, single crochet in that very space, then single crochet in the next space, chain 4, and then slip stitch at the base of the single crochet and single crochet again in that same space. So continue to do this. So you can see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. We have 7 spikes on each side. So once you get there and you get to this point that doesn't have a chain 1, you're going to just skip over it. We're not going to work anything here. You're going to go into the next chain 1 space and then chain up 4 and slip stitch at the base of the single crochet. Then single crochet in that very stitch, single crochet, chain 4, slip stitch at the base of the single crochet, single crochet again in the same space. So we've started on the next loop. One, two, three, 4. Single crochet, chain up 4, slip stitch at the base, single crochet again in that same space. So these spikes are going to keep popping on the outside. This is what you have. Let me show you something that's finished and I give you a better view of what we are going to come up with. You can see this is finished. So we're going all the way around. So continue to work until you get to the V stitch, which is here. So when you get to the V stitch, this time it's going to be something different. We're going to go into it with 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets, chain up 4, and then slip stitch at the base of the single crochet, and then single crochet twice again in that same V stitch. Then you're going to go into the next chain 1 space with 1 single crochet, chain 4, slip stitch at the base, then single crochet again in the same stitch, in the same space, sorry. So from here I'm going to just be explaining to you what to do. So you remember what we did at this point. We didn't work anything here. You can see after this we just jumped into this. We are going to do the same exact thing. We are going to go all the way to this point, and then when you get to this point you'll work 1 single crochet, chain 4, slip stitch in the base of the single crochet again here, then skip over, do the same here because these are chain 1 spaces and everything will be the same. Then what you did in this corner, which was 2 single crochets, spike, 2 single crochets, you're going to do it here at this V stitch, then go all the way down with just creating spikes until you get to the very last chain 1 space before the joining, before this point that doesn't have a chain, and I'll get back to you when you get that, when you're at this point. Okay, so here we are. I've gone all the way around to the beginning of the spikes, and I've worked my very last spike here. Remember, we don't work anything in here, in that that part that doesn't have a chain 1 space. So you're going to directly go into the very first single crochet. Just find a way of placing your hook in there and make a slip stitch. So you're going to chain 1, and then you cut your yarn. Okay, this is how it is. And at this point we are almost done with our project. This is how it looks like. I know the folds are there and all, but when you wear them they make a perfect fitting on the foot. So we are going to be considering this spike that we did in the V stitch and this spike that we did in this V stitch. So you're going to just attach your yarn, just get that spike and place your hook through like this. Attach your yarn, and I'm going to just make a chain of 120. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So after making my chains of 120, I went ahead to do it also on this side, to do exactly what I did for this sandal. And this is the pair, and this is how it looks like, the final project. I also went ahead to get rid of the loose ends, so you can see the wrong side of our sandals, and this is the right side. So these spikes should be popping on the outside, not on the inside. So that's why we did our very last row on the wrong side. I hope you enjoyed your project. Can't wait to see your colors, the versions that you come up with. And I think this is a very good accessory for our beach wear, because it really goes well with the crochet outfits. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.